This is Forge Daily with Mackenzie Barwell on the Forge Audio Network.
Forge fans, welcome back to another episode of Forge Daily. Today is September 5th, 2023. I'm your host, Mackenzie Barwell, here to give you all things Forge FC. We had a much smaller group in attendance today at training. It was a recovery session, so mostly those who didn't log a ton of minutes against Vancouver were here this morning. And we'll hear from some players later on. But in terms of what else you can expect, we'll go over some relevant changes to some individual CPL standings, as well as some info around the league that may affect Forge FC. And lastly, I got to talk to Forge's strength and conditioning trainer, Jacob Miller, on a typical rest day for the team. So let's start with the changes I mentioned around the league, because yesterday York and Halifax matched up. And for York, this is one of the toughest road trips around the league, as you know, because the Wanderers have the best home record in the CPL. But yesterday, York absolutely battled back from a 1-0 deficit to ultimately take home the 3 points in a 2-1 victory. So with that win, they are now tied with the Wanderers, as well as Atletico with 32 points in third place. Meaning there are now 3 teams on the heels of Forge and Pacific who don't exactly sit comfortably with just a 3-point lead below Cavalry. Moving on, looking at some individual player stats, after Woobes put away 3 goals on Sunday, he is making his way up the rankings for the Golden Boot race, currently sitting in third with 7 total goals on the 2023 season. Taryn Campbell still tied for first with Ottawa's Ollie Bassett. He's got 10 total. Taryn also sitting in second for most shot attempts, just 1 below Vancouver's Sean Hundal. Looking at assists, though, Kyle Becker tied with Pacific's Eamon Salouf, both of whom have accumulated 7 this season, the next in line being 5 total from a Halifax Wanderer. And last but not least, after Sunday, Tristan Henry has also solidified himself a title with 8 clean sheets total. That would be the most in the league thus far. He currently leads by 2 ahead of Valor's Ryan Yesley. So lots of positive contributions to the individual Forge FC stats following their matchup against Vancouver. Now let's look ahead to this Saturday for the home match against arguably the strongest team in the league right now, Cavalry FC. These remaining 5 games of the regular season will be absolutely crucial in determining who advances to the playoffs and ultimately takes home that league title. Because as Coach Bobby mentioned, whichever team has the best run of form in the next couple weeks will be put in the best position to succeed ahead of the playoffs. So now let's check in with my post-practice interview. I had to check in with Woobes once again after his hat trick this weekend, as well as strength and conditioning coach Jacob Miller on how he set up this morning's recovery session. You're coming off a hat trick. How do we feel? We were just saying that maybe we should start doing Forge Daily every Friday before a match day to kind of make it a tradition, or do you know what I mean? Like a superstitious thing? What are your thoughts on that?
I think we should, because we did it last week.
We're 1 for 1 so far.
So why not go for 2 for 2?
Yeah.
So no, I feel really great. I'm really grateful. I'm really happy for that. So it's really nice.
Good. Question about the penalty kick. Do you have a routine? Like, what's going through your head when you shoot one of those?
I'm just trying to stay calm. Since I'm here, I took 6-7 PKs, and I just missed the one against Ottawa. I don't know if you remember. Yeah, that one was pretty bad. So from that one, I changed my run up, which now I go a little bit slowly, and it go pretty well. It went pretty well for the last game. So I'm pretty happy about that, and it's pretty good.
Made the adjustments?
Yeah.
Okay, honestly, Woobes, I don't remember you missing a penalty kick.
I think it's better like this. It was pretty bad, but I think it happened, So now I'm 6 for 7, something like that.
Okay,
so it's
pretty
pretty
like
good.
90%. We don't need to do the math on that.
So it's good.
Okay, so looking from a team standpoint, where do you feel you guys were successful? What do you think went well?
Well, I think we listened to what Bobby told us during the week, which is trying to find them in behind the defensive line. I think we did a great job with that, especially on the second goal when Crazy crossed the ball to T and then he found me in the box. So I think on that point we did really well. We put energy, we worked for each other, and I think it's a good result for us.
Now, kind of going into this game against Cavalry, what does this week of training look like now that, you're transitioning out of the one against Vancouver and you're playing a completely different team this weekend?
Yeah, it's gonna be different, but at the end of the day, we have the same goals the same goal that we had last week, which is win again. We know that Cavalry are first for the moment in the standings. We also know that every time that Cavalry play against Forge, it's always a big game.
Yeah.
It's a rivalry, so no, I think we already focused for that game. We know that it's gonna be a really big game for us to try to reach them in the standings, and yeah.
How did the heat wave feel this morning at training? Is the better question.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. I thought, like I said earlier, I thought summer was done.
Yeah.
But now it's I don't even have the words. It's actually really hot.
It's bad.
Yeah, especially that we were in Vancouver this weekend, which were really more chill.
And then you get here, it's a sauna.
Yeah, literally.
But today was a recovery session, right?
Yeah, it was recovery for the guy who started. So it's good for us, but I know that the other guys, they had to train, so.
I'll talk to Jacob and see what the thought process was behind that, because...
Yeah, it was really hard.
Okay, that's all. Thanks, Boo.
Yeah, so the guys that didn't start the game, didn't play a whole lot of minutes or didn't travel with us, we'll get a full training session in. And then the starters, the guys that played a bunch of minutes, will start off. Today was a little bit different. We started with a little core session in the gym, and then they went outside,
you started inside today?
We did start
Okay,
inside
that makes
today.
sense,
That's
because
why
I
was
got
late.
here at 8:30 and I was like, where is everybody?
Yes. Yeah, so we started inside. They did a core workout in the gym. They did a jog. We went into a rondo game, and then some good old foot volley, foot tennis. And then they came inside to finish with like foam rolling, ice baths,
Nice.
things like that.
So those are the recovery guys, right?
Yeah, so that's what the starters did today.
Okay, and then otherwise, guys who didn't play.
They had a whole training session today.
So will that change depending on the point in the season, or will recovery sessions typically kind of structure the same way?
It more so depends on how long the week is. So if we're playing like a regular Saturday, then the week's a normal length and it looks a little different. In our case, we played a Sunday and then the next game's on a Saturday.
Right.
So the week's one day shorter. So that gives you that blended session.
It must have been a complicated setup with the Wednesday games in the middle of the summer, no?
Well, you could say it's complicated, but it's
To an
like really
extent.
like you just take days from the middle.
Yeah.
So like as the games get closer together, the heavier middle of the week sessions drop out.
Yeah.
And then you might have like, if you have a midweek game, you might go recovery and then like a speed-based session and then your kind of sharpness, match day -1, and then the game. So you're just dropping sessions from the middle as the week gets shorter.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm catching on.
So like a match day +1 or a match day -1, like typically will look mostly the same no matter how long the week is.
Yeah,
It's
and then
the,
you kind
it's
of
the
go
stuff
from-
in between that changes.
Okay, thanks, Jacob. On that note, we will wrap up today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. Stay tuned for another episode of Behind the Beer tomorrow and Forge Daily Thursday. Tomorrow is the first all-girls skills camp happening here at Tim Hortons Field, so I will be back later this week to check in and see how that went as well. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I will talk to you then.
This has been Forge Daily with Mackenzie Barwell. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share.